This is the last Strix, the raid wrap, the last Strix virus engine. It's pretty simple. Obviously, you use last Strix. Has the ability to summon a raid wrap to XYZ from your extra deck onto the field. For the rest of the turn, your opponent takes no battle damage. So you can bring out Ultimate Falcon with this, which is a rank 10 dark XYZ monster. You can summon number 77, the 7 sins on top of that, because it can be summoned on top of a rank 10 dark XYZ. So now you have a 4,000 that can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. So just that alone is the main engine, just that alone. But you can also run virus cards along with that, so you can take advantage of the fact that, you know, number 77 has 4,000 attack, 2,000 defense, it was dark, in order to trigger any one of these 3 traps. So, for example, Full Force Virus, trigger 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more defense. Check your opponent's hand and all monsters they control and all cards they draw until the end of their turn after this card's activation. Destroy all those monsters with 15 or less defense. So obviously that's very useful. Most decks, the monsters attack are higher than the defense. The purpose for that is that way they can do you more damage. Like, for example, if you want to put against a Monarch deck, all the Monarchs have 1,000 defense, so this will easily, kill them and crush them. And you got Deck Devastation Virus. It's for the opposite, it's more for hand traps. It's more for getting rid of hand traps than it is for getting, rid of any big boss monsters. Full Force is the one you'll try to use to take down some big boss monsters or some, high attack monsters but low defense, right? But this is the reverse version where we're trying to get rid of the weaker attack monsters, which will typically be stuff like hand traps, tuners, last Strix. See, last Strix has 100, has 100 attack. So you'll be able to take it down with this. It also has 100 defense, so you can also use virus to get rid of it. So that way your opponent can't go into his big boys, right? Anyway, trigger 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more attack. Check your opponent's hand and all monsters they control. All cards they draw until the end of their turn after this card's activation, and destroy all those monsters with 1500 or less attack. Like I said, mainly you'll try to use this to get rid of hand traps or just small little monsters like tuners and stuff like that to slow your opponent down. These cards are more to slow your opponent down than anything, but sometimes these can be soft locks or hard locks, on the right position. If 3 turns you're screwing your opponent over, it's a pretty hard lock. But typically these will be used for soft locking your opponent, slowing them down, preventing them from doing anything, massive during their turn. Then of course, the Eradicator of the deck of virus. Some decks, are either heavy in spells or heavy in traps, or if they're not heavy in either, then this card is useless, right? Because it only does spells and traps. But most decks run spells and traps, obviously. And some decks need traps more than others. For example, if I was to use this against True Dracos, I would use this and declare traps, not spells, because I typically use my traps to deal with my opponent's monsters anyway. So obviously, I want to get rid of the traps with Eradicator Epidemic Virus, so that way they have to use monsters and spells to summon their True Dracos. Specifically, their Masterpiece. The Masterpiece won't be protected from traps because I got rid of traps by using, Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Plus, I don't have to worry about battle traps like Mirror Force or anything like that, or Solemn Warning or whatnot. Plus, that's another thing, is being able, using this to just get rid of your opponent's back row. It's easier to tell if your opponent has traps, or it's easier to assume they have traps when they set a whole bunch of cards and ended their turn. So obviously, 90% of the time when you use this card, you're gonna say traps. You'll gain something from saying traps and spells. If your opponent set a whole bunch of artifact monsters, well then they had a whole bunch of artifact monsters, or if they set a whole bunch of spells, alright, well then it was all bluff. Because once you activate this and realize that none of their cards got destroyed, well, now you know they had bluffs. They had no responses for you, and you can try going for game. So like I said, 90% of the time you're gonna stay trapped with this card. Again, tribute one dark monster with 2500 or more attack, and declare one card type, spell, or trap. Check your opponent's hand and all spell or trap cards they control, and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn after this card's activation, and destroy all cards of that type. And that's pretty much it. For the engine, it's simple. I mean, if you have space to your extra deck to throw these in, you can even just play just one Ultimate Falcon, one number 77, and one last Strix. That way it only takes up one space in your main deck, 2 spaces in your extra deck, right? And you can play the viruses. You could not play the 7 sins, right? And because what you want to do is set the virus card, for example. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed. Wait a turn, and then summon last Strix. Right? Use this effect to grant Ultimate Falcon. Ultimate Falcon alone can meet the requirements for all 3 of these traps. But if you're going first, that's why you want to go number 77 and 7 sins, because Raptor Ultimate Falcon would go back into the extra deck by last Strix's effect. Therefore, you can't just summon Ultimate Falcon, set the trap in your turn, and still have the monster for the trap. Which is why you'll need number 77 and 7 sins. So there's a nice little simple engine. You can splash in any decks that you want to splash it in, and that's the end of the video.